Hello and welcome back in this very cool and special requested engine video. So I received a cool requested engine actually long time ago by Mr. Isa Muhammad. So he requested the Nissan L28 engine, which is a very good engine actually. It's not bad at all, but it's a little bit boring. But let me explain. It's boring, but it's good at the same time. So, and it's not easy to be made. I promise you that making this engine an automation game, this is not easy at all, and it's actually impossible. And I'm gonna explain why in a minute. So let's start with the specs. So before we starting with the specs, so Mr. Isa Muhammad, he want this engine to be like those videos that I made before this one, the boring into a tuner dream engine. So he wants me to make this engine and then upgrade it to its max potentials. So okay, so let's start with the specs. We have inline 6 engine, cast iron block material, 86mm on the bore, 79mm on the stroke, which equals 2.8 liter engine or 2753 cc engine. Push rods, 2 valves per cylinder, or you can say overhead valve. Aluminium head material, yes, this engine used aluminium heads and cast iron block. We have cast internals. As you can see, 8.61 is the compression ratio with 49 on the cam profile, and of course no VVT on this cam because it's an old classic engine. And yes, you are seeing it correctly. I have chosen plus 15 quality here. Yes, my friends, plus 15 quality camshaft and valves. Unfortunately, whatever you try to do, you can never achieve the correct amount of horsepower and torque using 95 octane fuel unless you have chosen a plus 15 quality camshaft and other plus 15 quality parts, as I will show you later or next. Naturally aspirated, and this engine actually used a two barrel or twin carburetors, single barrel eco. They call this one the SU carburetors. It looks similar like this one, this looking jar or something here. It's not a jar, of course not, but you know what I mean. This, I don't know actually the exact name of this bit here, but it looks absolutely like the wheel carburetors that came on this engine. So twin carburetor, single barrel eco. The air filter actually looked like that. I believe it looked like that, but yes. So actually we can use it and tweak the engine a little bit more if we want. Alright, so let's use it actually. I want to use that. Now that is a little bit difficult, and I remembered why I've chosen performance. Yes, I remember why I've chosen performance. Alright, so let's keep it on performance. So we have twin carburetors, performance intake manifold, premium 95 octane fuel, 14.2 is the fuel mixture. And if you are wondering why is it 14.2, because single barrel eco cannot use more than 14 plus 2. As you can see, max air fuel ratio is 14.2. So right now I'm actually maxing out these carburetors. 61 on the ignition timing, 6,000 is the RPM limit with plus 15 quality on the carburetors. Yes, again, I had to use plus 15 quality here. Short cast headers, 2.5-inch exhaust diameter, no catalytic converters, twin reverser mufflers, and of course plus 15 quality exhaust system. I had to use plus 15 quality on the top end and the fuel system, and of course the exhaust system with these specs, so I can make the correct amount of power and torque. And so far, let's see. Alright, now we are perfect. So the engine actually is making 138 horsepower, 163 pound-feet of torque like the real engine. The engine is extremely reliable, of course, because everything is plus 15 quality. Fuel economy is good, of course, because I had to use plus 15 quality. The engineering time and the production unit, this is just not important. Don't look here, because I'm not gonna make this engine. This is like a boring to a tuner dream engine, but no, this is not an episode of the series. This is a requested engine. So as you can see, throttle response is very bad because of these carburetors. They are not really great actually for throttle response. The engine is very quiet, it's smooth, it's good, it's not bad at all, and it's lightweight, a little bit lightweight because of the aluminum cylinder head. Alright, so let's fire it up. The engine sounds very good actually, it's not bad at all. So you have seen the stock engine, so right now I'm gonna just save it, exit out, and where is it? Here we go, this is the stock version, make a clone. Here we go, chose the other clone. And now let's start tweaking this engine. Let's say that you bought like a 1975 Nissan, I don't know what's the model, like Laurel or something. It's with the L model. Alright, so you bought that Nissan actually, and you had this engine which is good, not bad at all, and they are really this engine has a lot of enthusiasts actually, a lot of car enthusiasts that are changing these carburetors into a DCOE carburetors, triple DCOE carburetors, and I actually searched eBay and I found like a kit, intake manifold with all the springs and screws and everything you need to bolt on a triple DCOE carburetors on this engine in particular, and it will cost you around $3,000. It will cost you to buy 3 DCOE carburetors for this engine as a kit on eBay. And these carburetors are Weber, made in Spain, that's why they are expensive. But these are the stock ones. These are actually cheap, they are not expensive at all, but they are restricting a lot of power of this engine. So you already know what's the plan here. So let's start of course by tweaking the exhaust system because it's cheap, you can do it, it's very cheap actually. But let me explain something. This engine in real life, this engine, it doesn't come like this. It doesn't come like intake manifold here and exhaust manifold over there. No, it comes the opposite way. The intake manifold is over here and the exhaust manifold is also over here on the same side. So both of these intake and exhaust manifold are on the same side. So you need to find like a really custom made exhaust manifold, and I found one actually. There are a lot of options on eBay, a lot, and I mean a lot of options on eBay, like headers, exhaust pipes, carburetors, intake manifold, camshaft, internals, cylinder heads, everything you need to have to make more power. You can find it on eBay, Amazon, or any possible electronic store online. So let's start with of course changing the exhaust manifold. Let me lower the music a little bit because it's very annoying. Let's say 25, that's good. Alright, so okay, so the exhaust system right now, so you got this engine, it has a stock exhaust system on it, which is very good. It's not that much restrictive, as you can see, it's very good. So you need to change, as I said, go online and purchase a what do you call it, an exhaust header, a better one. So let's start with tubular as a kit. A little bit more power, a little bit more torque, not that much surprising. Go with long tubular, that's much better for you. And let's see, change to a straight through mufflers, or actually you can just remove the first muffler, second muffler, and just go with a smaller exhaust system, or you can just put a second muffler only and that's it. So these are the options you can have. Go with smaller diameter, put a straight through muffler on the at the end, at the tip of the exhaust, or actually some car enthusiasts, they put it on the first, like in the middle of the car, in the middle of the exhaust system, so they can keep the rear clean. But as you can see, according to the power and torque, automation game developers they have like programmed the game to make more power on the second muffler. So let's go with that. Let's see, bypass valves, no, we don't need those. keep it classic. So by far so good. It's good now. It's making more power and it looks very, very good. And of course it sounds better now. The engine sound magnificent, and as you can see the weight right now is 130 kilograms on the dot, which is perfect. So the next step is, of course, I also found like kits, also another kit for this engine that allows you to put a third single barrel eco carburetor like this, and it will actually make a good difference. Check out the before and after. So as you can see, because these carburetors with triple carburetors, they are still restricting the engine. They are still making less power than before. But check out the difference, 160 horsepower. Alright, so I think the most decent way to go with is, I think, change it to DCOE. But unfortunately this is very expensive, so I prefer, because the camshaft is much cheaper, but it will lose torque, as you can see. So no, let's say that you need to save up a lot of money. You need to save up like 3 grand and purchase DCOE. Are you ready for the powerful impact? Check out the power and the torque right now. Yes, 173 horsepower. With triple as the kit on eBay, it says 175 horsepower. Now that is a very, very good amount of power. As you can see, max horsepower is 741 these carburetors can take, and the twin carburetors that can actually take 494. That's good. That's not bad at all. And they look absolutely the same. These runners here, these runners, as you can see them, these are perfectly the same as the ones on eBay. They look absolutely the same. Wow, that's very, very good. And I cannot wait to fire this beast up, because it will sound much better. But before firing it up, of course, after you purchase these carburetors, you need to go to a dyno, so you can tweak them to perfection. So let's say 6,500 RPM. Put more ignition in. Not too much. Like 90, and drop the RPM to 6,400. That's good. Alright, so let's fire this beast up now. Oh. That is a very, very good thing. Actually, the power, the torque, and everything is very good. And the fuel mixer, actually we did not add more fuel in, so it's pretty much perfect. So you can actually add a little bit more fuel in, like 13.8, 180 horsepower. That's very good. Now we can change the camshaft. We can actually go much more aggressive than before, but not by much that you will start to lose torque. Like this. 202 horsepower, 68. That's pretty much perfect. Now let's change the exhaust system to a bigger one. Let's try racing tubular. No, it doesn't actually work really well. Like remove the muffler, the same thing, starting to lose power, going smaller, going bigger. There's something really wrong. That's perfect. So let's see. Actually, we can use 91 fuel right now, like this. So you can use 91 regular 91 octane fuel right now without any problems. That's very, very good. And you can have right now 214 horsepower. and 181 pound-feet of torque. That's awesome. Oh, listen to that. So the RPM is actually the same, so we need to rise it. 7,000 RPM, that's good. Listen to that. Alright, so this engine is a classic engine, so the most healthy way to go is of course to open the engine and change the internals to forged internals, forged steel crankshaft, heavy duty forged connecting rods, and forged pistons. And this actually will give you a more, as you can see, more octane headroom, and it will live longer, and it will take much more torture from turbocharging or running for a really long time. Alright, so the next step is to turbocharge this beast. And to do that, to drop the ignition timing as always, add a little bit of fuel in, adjust the intercooler, ball bearing. This one is maxed out, this one is minimum, and so it's 55.5. Oh yes, the fuel system, the carburetors cannot cope with this amount of boost, so 10 psi, that's maxed out. Intercooler is good, everything is good so far. And yes, the exhaust is restricting. That's good. So you need to change like a really hard things to make it work, like 260 horsepower. Like plus 5 quality. Put a more aggressive camshaft like that. Put more ignition timing in since we have a lot of headroom. 95 octane fuel again. 309 horsepower, that's very good. 310 horsepower, that's perfect. That's pretty much perfect. So 315 horsepower, that's very good. Perfect, right? And this is how it looks now. So we have triple DCOE carburetors, turbocharger, and different camshaft, different exhaust system, and of course different intake manifold or intake system. That's all we'll add, because we started in live with only 138 horsepower. Now we have 314 horsepower. That's very good. Alright, so far so good. Okay, so the next step is, let's see, we turbocharge the engine. Now let's say that you want to go with EFI. You want to spend more money and you want to buy an EFI kit, and I promise you there are those kits. You can find an EFI kit from a later model from this engine, because this engine the Nissan kept producing this engine for a really long time, and there was like a Nissan L28-E. E means electronically fuel injected, and yes, there's a kit actually for that. So let's go with EFI. Alright, so we have EFI, and let's go. I think it was like a single throttle body. Yes, a single throttle body, not race, no, performance. And let's see what kind of difference we have. Yes, massive difference in octane usage, as you can see. So the power is still absolutely the same, but the fuel is actually, the engine can run much more leaner because it's more precise from the injectors. And let's see what's what. Actually, the intake is restricting, so I don't know. Actually, let's see, like throttle per cylinder, that's pretty much perfect, but I'm not really sure about the performance per cylinder, if you can find a kit for that or not. So let's say that you found a kit for throttle per cylinder. So we have individual 6 throttle bodies. That's perfect. Now we can actually push a lot of boost in, since we have modern technology here. I'm not gonna use 91 octane fuel because, come on, really. So 14 psi of boost and a little bit bigger intercooler, and of course let's go with more ignition timing. So let's say like this, 80 on the ignition timing, that equals 335 horsepower, pretty much perfect. And a bigger exhaust system like 2.8 inch or 3 inch actually will make a huge difference. Wow, check it out. So decreasing the ignition actually can make you more power. So 349, that's very good. And so what's what? Let's see. Perfect so far. No, I'm not gonna decrease the cam profile. A little bit of fuel in, won't hurt. So we have 350 horsepower. I think this engine can manage only 350 horsepower, and that's good. This is only a 2.8 liter engine with, remember, a single overhead valve or push rods. It's a classic technology with turbocharging and really expensive throttle per cylinder setup. Yes, you can make a good amount of power. And actually, I remember Mr. Isa Muhammad told me that he wanted to see this engine with dual overhead camshaft or 4 valves per cylinder, but no, this will never work, because this engine block has the camshaft in it. Here, let me show you. The camshaft is in the block itself, and no, you cannot change the block. I mean, you cannot just block this here and just put a dual overhead camshaft head on top, because where are you going to run the timing chain and timing gear? No, it's not possible at all. This engine cannot run with any kind of modern what do they call it, top end technology. No, it will only run with overhead valve. That's the block design, and you cannot change the block design. Well, unless of course you bought like another engine, but it will not be an L28-SU engine, because the SU came with those classic economical carburetors and of course pushrod camshaft. So that's the engine then. Now let's fire up after all these modifications and see how it will sound. Oh, what a sound! the engine sounds like a symphony, a symphony of, oh my god, it's amazing to listen to. I can listen to it forever. I don't care if this engine has 100 horsepower or 1000 horsepower, but this sound, oh, absolute perfection, perfection at its best. I love this engine right now. I am like I'm literally in love with this engine, even if it has like this old technology, but with these parts, individual throttle bodies, the turbocharging, and the exhaust system, all of that add to an amazing soundtrack. Of course, with the camshaft, the more aggressive one, and just listen to that, a perfect music for a perfect moment. Yep. Yep, that's a perfect music for a perfect moment. I really love this engine. 350 horsepower, pretty much perfect amount of power, 70% of fuel economy. Yes, perfect music as I mentioned. And check out the reliability. Of course, because everything is on plus 15 quality, EFI power and everything. Yeah. That's very good. I really love this engine. So I really hope that you enjoyed this engine, guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, get subscribed, share the video if you want to share it, and of course hit that notification bell button so you can get a notification each time I release a new video. And thank you so much, Mr. Isa Muhammad, for your amazing request. And I apologize if it took so long to be made, but I was really busy, and now the engine is ready to be viewed on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for requesting this engine. And of course, guys, add me on my Snapchat. You can add me on my Snapchat. My username is Lord Bas, Lord BAS 94. You can find my snap code on my channel. Also the same username for my Instagram if you want to add me. And of course on Snapchat we can chat, we can share for car photos, you can see like behind the scenes, whatever. So keep requesting engines, keep watching my videos, and of course watch all my previous videos and enjoy them all. And of course give me those thumbs up and let me see those subscribers go up higher and higher and higher. So thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you very soon with more cool videos like this one and even more. And goodbye, my friends, for now.